This is TechCrunch. It's been a big year for AI acquisitions, so big that most of them barely register anymore. Anthropic and OpenAI have each gone on buying sprees, snapping up developer tooling, AI services shops, and product testing startups to convert model capability into enterprise revenue and extend their reach faster than the other, which is what made a weekend rumor about Anthropic acquiring robotics startup Physical Intelligence stand out. It spread exceedingly fast, even after a denial from Physical Intelligence's CEO. Now, part of that ties to who's involved. Physical Intelligence is not some obscure robotics shop. It was co-founded by Lachie Groom, an investor-operator whose star has been on the rise in Silicon Valley in recent years. It has raised more than $1 billion and was reportedly in talks this spring for another billion-dollar round at an $11 billion valuation. And the N0.5 model is apparently among the more widely used robot brains in robotics research. As it turns out, the rumor was not completely spurious. Anthropic and Physical Intelligence actually did hold acquisition talks this spring, according to the information. So, tech blogger Robert Scoble, whose weekend post on X set off the frenzy, may have gotten the specifics wrong without being wrong that something had happened. Physical Intelligence's response to the rumor mill was not the world's most vigorous denial, it should be noted. According to the information, Physical Intelligence CEO Carol Hausman told employees the reports were not true via a Slack message containing a GIF of a character from The Office shaking her head no. Groom, for his part, did not respond to TechCrunch's request for comment sent Monday night. Anthropic has made 4 known acquisitions this year. OpenAI has been more aggressive, acquiring at least 17 companies since 2023. Both are also, of course, now preparing to go public. Anthropic confidentially filed for an IPO on June 1st, followed by OpenAI a week later, setting up what could be 2 of the largest U.S. stock debuts in history. So, why robotics, and why now? Well, the likeliest answer is that physical world understanding may be a prerequisite for super intelligent systems, and no amount of internet text can substitute for it. OpenAI's own history here is instructive. It built an early robotic hand that could solve a Rubik's Cube and then shut the entire robotics group down in 2021. The team came back in 2024, quietly building a humanoid robotics lab in San Francisco before CEO Sam Altman made it official in late May, announcing OpenAI Robotics was hiring and describing a near-term focus on robots for infrastructure work with a personal robot for everyone as the long-term goal. Anthropic has not built anything resembling OpenAI's hardware lab. What it has done is publish a string of research pieces through its internal group that stress tests frontier capabilities for safety purposes. That included Project Fetch last November, where Anthropic staff tested how much Claude could help non-experts program a robot dog, and a second phase in June that, according to Anthropic, found a newer model completed the same tasks roughly 20 times faster than the best human plus Claude team from the year before. Buying an existing team with robotics expertise would let Anthropic skip years of work. There's a possible complication to that, though. Physical Intelligence was founded in San Francisco roughly 2 years ago by Groom, former Google researchers and professors from Stanford and Berkeley. And its early investors base looks a lot like OpenAI's own, including Coastal Ventures and Thrive Capital and Founder Fund. Also a major OpenAI investor, was reportedly involved in Physical Intelligence's newest funding round earlier this year. In fact, OpenAI is itself an investor in Physical Intelligence. So it is not just a peripheral player. It is a stakeholder in a company that its chief rival was reportedly in talks to buy very recently. Now, that raises questions around whether OpenAI's early investment came with any information rights or a right of first refusal over a sale to a competitor. The kind of protective provisions that strategic investors sometimes negotiate for precisely this scenario. Now that leaves open the possibility that if physical intelligence is actually in play, OpenAI, already a shareholder, already close to groom, already trying to ensure it bests Anthropic in robotics, may have the more obvious claim to it than Anthropic does. Governments have long warned not to pay a hacker's ransom demands, arguing that doing so only lets criminals profit from their cyber attacks and funds the next one. And there's also another reason. The hackers are unlikely to leave you alone if you pay up once, and many will come back demanding more. In a report published on Wednesday, cybersecurity giant Proofpoint said it surveyed 953 companies and found that over one-third of companies that paid a hacker's ransom were hit with a second extortion demand. The findings underscore the long-held understanding among security researchers and network defenders that it is impossible to negotiate in good faith with an extortion racket because there's no incentive for the other side to actually walk away. Proofpoint's data shows that ransomware attacks and extortion attacks have evolved from a single transaction where hackers would get paid once and move on into an effort using multiple forms of leverage, such as retaining stolen data under the threat of publicly releasing it. While hackers have claimed in the past that they will delete or destroy the victim's stolen data, past incidents have shown that not to be the case. Last month, a hack at market research firm Clue exposed data belonging to its customers, including several cybersecurity firms. The company said it struck a deal with the hackers, who claimed to have deleted the data, but the company later conceded that a separate hacking group swiped a sample of the company's stolen data, leaving its customers exposed to potential future extortion demands. A similar situation befell Change Healthcare in 2024 after a Russian-speaking ransomware gang stole the health and medical data of the majority of people in America, some 192 million people. Amid a dispute between the hackers and their affiliates, criminal groups often subcontract out attacks, Change Healthcare paid separate ransoms to both groups of criminals to keep the sensitive medical data off the internet. Security researchers have long suspected that ransomware gangs and extortion rackets will keep hold of the victim's stolen data, even after a payment is made. UK law enforcement confirmed this during their takedown efforts targeting the prolific Lockbit ransomware gang in 2024. Police said that they found victims' stolen data stored on Lockbit's servers long after they had paid the ransom. That's all for now. For the latest in tech news, go to TechCrunch.com.